The shows have been outstanding, and the fields are up. The number of cars are up. Each night now over the first 3 nights, averaging over 100 cars on track for each of the 3 nights. Some pretty big stuff going on here in New Smyrna Beach. Gio Ruggiero was top qualifier in the super late models tonight. William Sawalich was second quick. Austin Nason was third, however, a tech infraction. It was a weight penalty, and you see that's usually the number one thing that happens here is maybe too much left side weight rolling across the scales. After qualifying, Austin Nason's run was disallowed. So that put Brent Cruz third fast in super late model qualifying, Cole Butcher fourth, and Jet Noland rounding out the top 5.
Good qualifying run for Gus Dean tonight. He timed in 6th. Derek Griffith was 7th. Bubba Pollard, Connor Jones, and Derek Kraus rounding out the top 10. Don't know what the invert is just yet. Officials determining that starting lineup here momentarily, and we'll give it to you as soon as we know it. But, you know, you talk about the quality of the racing in the super late model division the other night. I think the pro late models have been just as strong. Talk about an exciting finish last night, coming down to the last corner of the last lap. Dawson Sutton delivering just a textbook that victory.
Hunter Wright had a 1.5 second lead with 10 laps to go. It was a clean race to that point, no yellows. There's the Hunter Wright number 29 going through tech currently. Hunter Wright what ends up being fast qualifier here this evening. He's had a great start to the week. Looked like he was on his way to a feature win last night. That yellow came out with 10 laps to go, and that bumped him with the bump with that last lap pass down in turn 4 by Sutton.
And look who qualified second tonight.
Yeah, they're going
to be together tonight too.
They will be.
Yeah, so I expect we will see a thrilling race, not only in the super late model division, but the pro late model division as well, as we get ready for pre-race activities down here at the start-finish line momentarily. Great look at the old Richie Evans modified. That car on display here each and every year throughout the course of the World Series. One of my favorite short track race cars of all time right there. Just absolutely beautiful. The Rapid Roman, Richie Evans, the multiple-time NASCAR Modified Tour champion.
Hunter Wright, as we mentioned, was fastest in the pro late model qualifying session that just ended, besting the field of 23 cars that were on track. Actually, Mike Mayberry made it 24 drivers qualifying. Dawson Sutton was second quick. Ryan Luza was third. Jimmy Renfrew was fourth. Brody Monahan was fifth. Monahan in the 15 car, one to keep an eye on, just 14 years of age, making just his third pro late model start of his young career. And we'll watch that number 15 later on tonight when the pro lates hit the raceway. That's the number 21 of Derek Kelly, one of the competitors in late model competition here for the World Series this week.
And you see the 22 car that pulled out of the pit area that right there. That was our quick qualifier in the super late model division. Gio Ruggiero bringing his car down pit road, getting ready for the lid lifter here tonight. We're going to start things with the super late models here this evening. That should set the tone for the rest of the night. There's a good look at the number 22 car. He picked up a big win a couple of nights ago.
Tonight's action will feature the super late models first, running 35 laps. Florida Modifieds, 35 laps. The pro late models running 35 tonight. The 602 mods, 25 laps. And 30 laps for the E-mods here tonight. Super late models getting lined up on pit road gives us a chance to send it back. And we'll be back with the opening race of night number 3 of the World Series on Flow Racing.
Show us the right way to live as we go through this thing called life, because you have given us the greatest gift of all, salvation. So again, we just give you all the all the glory, all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now first one, welcome back to next start. Hopefully it'll work for next. She's going to present us with the Canadian national anthem followed by our American national anthem. I think I'll just have to hold it. Oh, Canada, our old and ancient land, whose sacred love is your lifetime command. With growing hearts we see thee rise, unto your strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? Through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, be streaming, and the ranks red glowing in air gave through the night that our plague was still there. Sailors like our spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you so much.
Folks, let her hear it.
And welcome back to New Smyrna Speedway for our third night of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. 6 left after this one. Racing has been very good over the first 2 nights. Had the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour last night. That was a headliner that filled these grandstands up. For the second night of racing this week, Ron Silk claiming the victory. And we got to see some Tour-type modifieds on track earlier today for an optional practice session. I think around 20 or so were on property. Tomorrow it will be a big field of Tour-type modifieds as they now begin their official World Series points week. And we saw some on track earlier today that were not in competition last night.
It's good to see some of those additional entries make their way back out onto the racetrack. There's a good look at the young man that was quick qualifier for the super late model division, Gio Ruggiero.
Talking to his teammate, Cole Butcher.
Yeah, both of those drivers ready to strap in and go to battle. A 35-lap sprint for the super late models here tonight. They're getting ready for their 2 long-distance events coming up later on in the week. A 200-lapper coming up here on Tuesday, part of the ASA Stars National Tour, and then, of course, the 100-lap finale coming up on Saturday night.
Well, for the Austin Nason fans that were tuned in for the first segment of our pre-race, I've got good news for you. Car ended up being okay, and he was not disqualified for a weight infraction. A little bit of misinformation was fed our way, so he is in good shape.
That's good news for the Austin Nason fans out there. And I'll tell you what, he had a great qualifying run that'll put him well within the invert here tonight. So we're reawaiting the starting lineup. The officials next door busily editing and relining up. Ooh, do I see a little smoke coming out of the 24 car there? Is Brent
It'd be
Cruz?
all right.
Yeah. Don't usually see a smoke coming out of the tailpipes like that, but I think you're right.
We'll
Adam.
see if it clears up. I think it will.
Maybe a little oil burning off out in the headers right there. But Brent Cruz, another driver who had a great qualifying run, had a great run here on Friday night. He and his teammate, Donnie Wilson Motorsports teammate, battled for the win late in the race. Brent, of course, the 2023 Trans Am TA2 division champion. Very talented young man.
Talked about last night. The other winners last evening were Dawson Sutton in the Pro Late Models. That exciting last lap pass where he pulled off the little bump and run down in turn 3 and 4. He was definitely quicker over the last 10 laps than the then leader, Hunter Wright. Sportsman last night, Cody Brusso claiming the victory, and Bomber A's Brandon Gaither took the W. Night 1. Friday evening saw Gio Ruggiero. We saw a lot of him moments ago there on pit road chatting before he climbs into the car, get ready to go. Tries to make it 2 for 2 this week, and it didn't look like Gio Ruggiero was going to end up in victory lane Friday night. He was riding around in 3rd place, about 5 laps to go. The top 2 at the point got together at the front. They moved up the track, and it opened up, kind of parted the sea for him on the bottom, and he scooted on by, as well as his teammate Brent Cruz, as they went out into 1st and 2nd and came across the line that way at the end. Other winners on night 1 included Jimmy Renfrew Jr. and the Pro Late Models. The Florida Modifieds were L.J. Grimm, and Sportsman Adam Briggs, and the Bomber A's Joseph Warren are winners on night number 1. Tonight we will have 5 drivers celebrating in victory lane, and again later on we'll see the 602 mods. What a field there. Close to 30, I think, on property.
That class continues to impress. I believe this is the 3rd year. The 602s have been a part of the World Series of Asphalt here at New Smyrna, and that class has grown tremendously. And on top of that, they put on phenomenal races on the big half mile here at New Smyrna. There's a good look at Albert Francis in the number 33. Albert's had some success in the super late model division up in Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, looking to make some waves down here in the Southeast.
Albert Francis making his World Series start tonight, trying to get ready for that ASA Stars race coming up a couple of nights from now.
There's another young man, James Lynch. I had a chance to chat with him the other day. Young man just out of high school. Asked him what his plans were for the week, and he said, you know, I'd love to stick around all week, but I got to get back after Tuesday. I got to go back to work. My boss won't give me the rest of the week off. But James here looking to get some laps and looking to be competitive in that big ASA Stars National Tour race coming up on Tuesday night. Regular competitor in the ASA Midwest Tour. And how about this guy? First time he has been back to the World Series since 2019. He's a former ARCA Menards East winner here at New Smyrna Speedway. Former ARCA Menards Series West champion Derek Kraus looking to pick up a checkered flag tonight.
Kraus finished 13th on a Friday evening during the opener for the super late models. And of course, field of 38 supers took time in qualifying earlier, and sometimes they have a couple of additional ones tag the tail. We'll see if that is the case here tonight as well. A field of 50 super late models now on the official entry list for Tuesday night's
50
Clyde Hart Memorial for the ASA Stars National Tour. Season opener for the ASA Stars National Tour, and 50 entries are now on the list, including all of the stars of super late model racing. They're all going to be here.
Stephen Nasse,
Bubba Pollard, Casey Roderick, Ty Majeski, winner of the ASA Stars National Tour Championship.
He's won a championship or two, yeah.
Yeah. So, multiple championships in the Midwest Tour.
Absolutely.
ASA Stars National Tour, first ever champion last year there.
I think we may have
some wins on the Truck Series.
I think we may have a NASCAR Cup Series champion on that entry list as well, correct?
Chase Elliott.
How about it? Oh.
Ty Majeski, as we were talking about him, also a Speed Week super late model champion in the past when they have competed on a week-long basis.
You know, Chase Elliott never gone to victory lane here at New Smyrna. He'll be looking for win number 1. That'd be a big one to win, I'll tell you that.
Getting ready to take a look at the starting lineup for the super late model 35 lap one of the short ones. It's a sprint. As there's a look at the lineup. This lineup here does not include the Austin Nason ride because Austin, at one moment, sounded like he was getting disqualified for a weight infraction. So we'll get you an update on that here in moments. It looks like Bubba Pollard in the 26 will be starting from the pole position. And Pollard did not have a good opening night on Friday. Fell out of that event early and called it a day. Now today gets the luck of the invert and looks like he will be starting from the pole.
And I think Bubba does that sometimes. He gets in car protection mode. He knows the big races are where it's at here, and he doesn't want to tear that car up in a 35-lap race. So he I think brought that car down to help protect it. And I think we'll see a very different Bubba Pollard as he starts closer to the front of the field here tonight.
A little bit delayed for the start of the racing program here on night number 3 because of the extra cars they had in qualifying with the Supers and the Pros, putting us behind just a few minutes. The Super Late Models will be first up, and what a show they put on Friday night. A lot of trading paint up in the top 5 positions as the top 5 kind of were in a breakaway. So they are getting the field aligned on the front stretch. Bubba Pollard actually 9th fast in qualifying, so he will not have made the invert. I think that was off the old lineup.
And I think that's the cause of this delay is we're going to have to realign the field. Bubba, under the understanding that one of those drivers in the top 8 had been disqualified, he had been reinstituted into his original position, so now we're going to have to kind of shuffle things up a little bit here. But we'll give the officials here a couple of minutes to get the lineup straightened out, and we will get things underway here with our first event of the night. 35 laps to distance, going to be a quick one. There's a good look at Bubba Pollard in that number 26. Bubba going to chase the ASA Stars National Tour Championship here in 2024. Always one of the big contenders in these major super late model events. And I'll tell you what, while we are waiting on the official starting lineup, why don't we go ahead and step away for another quick break. When we come back, we'll set the field and we'll get ready to go racing live here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Lineup taking place on the pit road area for the super late models. This qualifying went a little bit long here tonight with a huge field of nearly 40 super late models that took time in qualifying, and then the pro late models of 25 cars that were on track during that session. So we will be going racing soon. Tonight's races are short distance affairs, which sometimes makes it really exciting. Those 35 lappers can go quickly. And there's a look at what we have coming up the rest of the week. Of course, tonight, Sunday, Super Lates, Florida Mods, Pro Lates, 602 Mods, and E-Mods. Tomorrow, for a Monday night, the Tour Type Modifieds will be on track. 602 Mods, Pro Late Models, and Florida Mods.
And I'll tell you what, there's also a practice session for Tuesday night's big show. ASA Stars National Tour. There will be a last chance qualifier on Tuesday to whittle the field down, as Adam said momentarily. 50 entries and only 28 will get to take the green flag for the big Kleinhart Memorial 200. That one coming up on Tuesday, February 13th. Also a 50-lapper for the Tour Type Modifieds coming up on Tuesday night. A big, big night of racing here at New Smyrna.
Wednesday night, one that many people like coming out to, is the Tour Type Modifieds compete in the John Blewett III Memorial. Thursday, kind of a regular night of racing with normal distance affairs for many of those divisions. I think the Florida Mods run their long distance affair that night. Friday night, a couple of 100 lappers. The Heart to Heart 100 for the Pro Late Models and the Richie Evans Memorial 100 for the Tour Type Modifieds. That's going to be a busy night, a lot of divisions. We got the trucks coming in for the first time. Super Stocks will be here. The Bomber Bees will be here. And then, of course, Saturday we wrap it up next week on February 17th.
Orange Blossom 100, the traditional closing night main event of the World Series here at New Smyrna, as Field Indeed rolls off of pit road.
You see the field taking formation along the back stretch.
And look at that, Bubba Pollard not going to be up on the front row. He is going to have to drop back outside of that top 8, reflective of his 9th place qualifying effort.
So the invert was an 8, the biggest number that can be inverted in these 35-lap races, and top qualifier Gio Ruggiero drew that. It puts Derek Griffith in the 12G on the pole position tonight, and alongside will be Gus Dean in the 57. Row number 2 will have Jet Noland in the 50 and the 28 of Cole Butcher.
Brent Cruz and Austin Nason will come to the green back there in row 3. Row 4, William Sawalich, fast qualifier on opening night, alongside tonight's fast qualifier Gio Ruggiero.
Row number 5 features the 26 of Bubba Pollard and the 44 of the young man Connor Jones. Derek Kraus in the 9 of the top 10 in the 11th position, and Hunter Wright at 29, one of the top pros this week. Fast qualifier on the Pro Late Models, in fact, starting tonight's race in 12th.
One of the top super late model drivers in the Southeast, Matthew Craig, will start 13th tonight alongside Canadian Kyle Steckley, driving for Rhett Jones Racing here tonight. Anthony Sergi in the number 20 will start alongside Chris Wright in the 20K. No way the announcers will mix those numbers up tonight, I promise.
Clover, Wisconsin driver Gabe Summers starts his number 15 car in the 17th position this evening. Multi-time track champion Brad May in the 9M will start 18th. Ty Fredrickson, the teenage son of Dan Fredrickson, starting 19th. And John Bolin, car number 2, rounds out the top 20.
Another Canadian driver, Trayton Lapsevich, will start from the 21st position alongside Floridian Jake Finch. A lot of laps here at New Smyrna for the driver of the 51F. Bobby Good and Nick Noggle will start alongside one another back in row number 12.
Hernando, Florida driver Michael Hind in the 69 starting 25th. Joe Lawrence in the 78 starts his car in the 26th spot. It is Jeff Chaquette, the veteran driver, car 21, looking for speed, trying to make that car better as we approach Tuesday's big race. Chaquette starting 27th, and Dawson Sutton in the 26th, not where he would like to have qualified for the Super, qualified very well in the Pro, second quick in the Pro Late Model.
Albert Francis and Billy Van Meter will be back in row number 15. Tommy Catalano, that car was quick in practice earlier this afternoon. We look to see Tommy to gain some positions here in this 35-lapper. He will start alongside the young man James Lynch we talked about a few moments ago. They're back in row 16.
Row 17 has the 7 of Mitch Haver and the 05 of Brandon Turbish. Then it is Cody Stickler in the 80S tonight, and Derek Kelly in the 36th starting position in car 21.
Danny Knoll Jr. and Amy Catalano scheduled to round out our 38-car starting field. Looking to see if there are any additional cars on the racetrack that we didn't anticipate. And I believe maybe one additional car. We see this quite frequently.
See 11 of Weaver.
Yeah, and Patrick Thomas in the 9T car. Brad May's backup car, I believe, is also on the racetrack. So that should give us 40 cars ready to come to the green for 35 quick laps. Field given the signal to double up. And I saw another interesting nugget as the cars now bunching up. A couple of drivers electing to drop to the tail. Several drivers electing to drop to the tail for the start. Hunter Wright in the 29, Bubba Pollard in the 26, and Jake Finch in the 51F. I also see Kyle Steckley in the number 30 car dropping to the tail end of the field for the start here tonight. And there are those drivers motoring down the front straightaway right now. Should get the 1 to go signal this time around. Adam, 40 cars on this half mile could lead to some pretty intense action here, particularly in the early going.
Well, Derek Griffith, we've seen him at the front of these races during the World Series. We've seen him in victory lane during the World Series. He was a little bit off on Friday night. The team said that they were trying to learn this new tire that the super late models are on this season. Well, I think they've figured it out, at least. Looking for win number 7 in World Series history for Derek Griffith, the 26-year-old from Hudson, New Hampshire. 2-time World Series super late model champion. Starting from the pole, he qualified just right to make that invert. Gus Dean has turned into a veteran driver and kind of a World Series veteran too. He usually makes the appearance, doesn't run super late models a lot, but usually kind of shows up during the World Series in February.
Gus, a winner in the ARCA Menard Series at the biggest, fastest racetrack on the schedule, Talladega Superspeedway, and the shortest, tightest racetrack on the schedule, Elko Speedway. He'll be looking for a trip to victory lane here at the very quick, lightning fast half mile here at New Smyrna Speedway. And I thought we were going to get the 1 to go signal. Jason Caranci with the white flag in hand on the starter stand. He's signaling to the drivers to get bunched up a little bit better before we indeed get that 1 to go signal. So maybe next time by we'll get that 1 to go and get set for 35 laps. You know, that's the distance many racetracks across the country run as their feature event distance, but here at the World Series, one of the shorter events throughout the course of the week for the super late models.
White flag is waving as we will go green next time around for a huge field of super late models on night 3 of the World Series.
Some very young, aggressive drivers in that top 8. Jet Noland in the 50. Jet has really come to life here the last 8 to 12 months in that number 50 car. Cole Butcher in that number 28. So close to picking up that ASA Stars National Tour Championship last year. Brent Cruz in the 24. That young man looking to make a splash in the stock car racing world. And then that 4th row, you've got William Sawalich and Gio Ruggiero. Field now bunched up on the back straightaway. Pace car ready to hit pit road, and we are ready to come to green.
Night 3 of the World Series at New Smyrna Speedway underway as the green waves. Derek Griffith and Gus Dean take the field into turn 1.
Side by side for the lead down into turn 1. Who's it going to be? Griffith with the bottom lane. He's going to stay side by side with Gus Dean. Dean with the lap 1. It's going to be Griffith by inches here at start finish.
Tight racing for that number 1 spot, wheel to wheel, maybe even bouncing off of one another a couple of times. Waiting right behind him to see an opening is Jet Noland, the young driver in car number 50, who has had a great start to his 2024 season. Leading lap number 2 at the line, Gus Dean.
Gus Dean with a really nice lap there, using the outside lane to his advantage. He's going to jump out and take the lead, as now here comes Jet Noland with some pressure on Derek Griffith for second.
Single file formation, top 3 spots at the front of the field as they settled in. The battle for 4th right behind them. On the inside lane is Brent Cruz. He gets sideways going in. He's able to save it, fortunately for Cole Butcher, because he was on the outside.
I thought Brent Cruz was going to go around down there. Great save by the driver, the number 24. There's Austin Nason in that 14 car now looking at the inside of Cole Butcher. The battle on for 5th.
Nason on the low side, Butcher on the outside lane. Butcher had a great season with the ASA Stars National Tour a year ago, getting tuned up here tonight for that Tuesday night race. He won at Anderson Speedway, the Red Bud race last year. Did Cole Butcher finish second in the standings in its inaugural season? Cole Butcher right now having the 9 of Kraus on the outside lane.
Derek Kraus in that 9 car using that outside lane to his advantage. He has picked up several positions in that outside lane, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it work against Cole Butcher right there. No, he's not. He's going to fall in line right in front of William Sawalich.
Now we've gone single file throughout the top 10 spots or so. A little further back, here's the 15 of Gabe Summers, Chris Wright side by side for the 12th spot. Gio Ruggiero, the fast qualifier tonight, the winner on Friday. The 22, a car to keep our eyes on, running in the 6th position right now. Ruggiero picked up a couple wins on the ASA Stars National Tour last year. He's going to be one of the favorites, possibly for that championship here in 2024. Gabe Summers, we're kind of used to seeing that driver from Wisconsin down here at the World Series. They usually make the annual trip here to New Smyrna as well.
Now working the tail end of the field, we saw Gus Dean and the advantage he has over second place Derek Griffith. We're going to jump back into the pack. There's a great battle between, there's William Sawalich, Connor Jones, Brad May. Big pack of traffic as we jump back up to the front of the field and check in on leader Gus Dean.
Gus Dean pulling away from Derek Griffith in the early going. He's made 46 World Series starts between pros and supers. He's yet to win. Tonight, can Gus Dean get into victory lane here for the first time in World Series action? The 57 of Dean is strong with 7 quick in qualifying in this stout 40-car field. Actually had, it looks like on timing and scoring here, 35 elect to start the race tonight. I would try to count them, but it's too many cars around this racetrack. I'll get dizzy. We actually had more than that come qualifying time earlier today. Derek Griffith in the 12. And the 50 of Jet Nolan running second and third. Had a few drivers make their way to the pits here in the early going. Patrick Thomas in the 9 was pit side. Kyle Steckley has gone to the pits. I believe David Weaver in the 11. Hunter Wright in the 29 have all gone pit side here during the early laps. James Lynch also coming to the pits.
There is Gus Dean again up at the front of the field. And you know, not only has he got a big week up and ahead, he's going to race here a couple more times. He's got a Venerini Motorsports ride for the ARCA Menard Series over at Daytona International Speedway, racing in memory of his grandfather, Charlie Dean. His dad, Charles Dean, the grandfather, passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I know Gus's heart very heavy here the last couple of weeks, but this is a great way to honor his grandfather's memory, and he is looking dominant here tonight, leading 14 of the first 15 laps. 20 to go already, Adam, in a very fast-paced super late model main event.
This many cars on the track, nice to see it go green this long here early on. Now we've seen it so many times here where a guy is looking like he's on his way to a victory, much like Gus Dean right now in the early stages, about the halfway mark of the race, and then they get that dreaded yellow flag that comes out, and the next thing you know, they're fighting for fifth.
Don't jinx us, man.
I know, it could happen.
Good battle on the racetrack right there between Jet Nolan and Brent Cruz. Ooh, a little bit of contact right there. Brent Cruz giving the old chrome horn to Jet Nolan, moving him up the racetrack, and Brent Cruz going to take over that position. He's going to move into third and push Jet Nolan back to fourth.
Austin Nason also getting involved in the action with Jet Nolan. Nason on the low side takes the spot away, kind of threading through some traffic as well. Here comes top qualifier Gio Ruggiero in the 22 to the inside. It's a battle for the 5th position. Gus Dean leads, Derek Griffith, Brent Cruz, Austin